Hey everyone, and welcome back to Split Couch Games. I'm Scott, and I'm back with another Gears of War 4 theory video. A few months ago, I did a video about who I think is Kait's grandfather. It has been incredibly successful for the past couple months, so I figured now is the time to bring this video to you guys. Now for the customary spoiler alert. Anything Gears of War related up through the 4th game, including novels, are fair game after the intro. While the previous theory was called Who is Kait's Grandfather, I'm no longer sure that this is the right title. As I researched that theory, some things jumped out at me as odd. Something didn't fit, and the more I scoured cutscenes, dialogue, and any bit of lore I could find, the more I was convinced that Kait isn't who we think she is. For those who don't know, at the end of Gears of War 4, Kait is given her grandmother's necklace. She turns it over and the back is the same as the Locust symbol. Everyone has pretty much agreed that this means Kait is the granddaughter of Queen Myrrah. And I thought so too. But after overthinking this for months, I don't think she's actually related to Queen Myrrah. Now to be clear, Reyna is Queen Myrrah's daughter. Too much of that makes sense. She was specifically targeted by the Swarm to be something more than just another juvie. She was special to the Swarm, who are the evolved form of Locust. While not confirmed, it's pretty clear that Reyna was well on her way to becoming the new queen. And it makes sense that Myrrah's bloodline would be the most attractive option as a leader for the Swarm. And of course, the necklace is a pretty good giveaway as well. But I don't think that Kait is really Reyna's daughter. And no, this isn't going to be some half-assed, oh, Kait was adopted theory, so bear with me. Before I explain though, we have to establish that they're not related before I tell you what Kait's ancestry actually is. The first moment I felt like something was off is the fight with the Speaker. When the Speaker comes out, we find out that he is well aware of who Kait is in relation to Reyna. He tells Kait that the path to her mother goes through him. So if the Swarm know who Kait is, then why are they trying to kill her throughout the campaign? Assuming Myrrah's bloodline actually matters, and by all accounts it does, this is probably the dumbest thing you could do. Sure, the Swarm already have Reyna, they don't need Kait. But when Queen Myrrah was killed, the Locust/Swarm had to spend several years tracking down and capturing Reyna. If something went wrong this time, the Swarm would want a backup, and if Kait's dead, there is no backup. There is no further bloodline, because Kait doesn't have Myrrah's DNA. But that's pure conjecture. Nobody really knows how the Swarm think, except Marcus Phoenix. The ending cutscene was a huge revelation for fans of the series. As Kait shows us the back of the necklace, we all freaked out seeing the Locust symbol. But that knowledge is something that Marcus Phoenix already knew. He saw the Swarm's network. It is likely that he knew why Reyna was being treated differently. And a quick side note, we can assume that Kait knows as well, since she doesn't seem particularly surprised when Marcus delivers the news about her mother being treated differently. Her only real reaction is showing more resolve to find her mother, which could easily be explained by the fact that she understands the consequences for the world as a whole if the Swarm complete whatever they're doing with Reyna. Marcus and Kait actually have two interactions in the final cutscene that I think showcase how much Marcus knows. The first is when Kait first sees Reyna. She asks Marcus if he knew, and he responds in a very deliberate way. And I quote, "Yes, but I didn't know we'd find this." That's really weird wording. If he didn't know that they would find Reyna hooked up to the Swarm network like that, then what are they referring to? On the surface, that's all there is. There's just that surprise. And it would make sense that Kait's asking, Marcus, did you know that we would find her like that? But he refers to that as the but. He knew something else right away. Something that no one else in the cave or in the audience knew right then. And it's most likely that they're referring to Reyna's purpose and why she was being used that way. Kait realizes then that Marcus knows Reyna was Myrrah's daughter. What Kait asked could have very easily have been, Marcus, did you know that my mother was related to Queen Myrrah? Fast forward a bit, and when Kait leaves the cave, Marcus says, "This isn't over, so get her somewhere safe." Kait responds with, "I don't need protection." Marcus says, "I know. You need time." On the surface, it appears that Kait is rebuffing Marcus, because she's strong and doesn't need to hide out. She can take care of herself, and while that's true, that's not what this exchange is really saying. Reading through the lens of Kait not being related to the Queen, her response of not needing protection is quite literal. She doesn't need protection because the Swarm don't need her. And Marcus once again shows us how much he knows when he tells us that. He says he knows. And this makes so much more sense with the character of Marcus than if he was saying, I know, trying to placate Kait. Marcus doesn't fuck around. He's seen shit in his life, and he's made mistakes in the past based off of emotion. And those mistakes have cost a lot of lives. The most notable is when he let the Locusts destroy an entire city because he went to go save his father. And he wouldn't let that happen again, especially if the Swarm were a potential threat as large as the Locust. He's not going to humor Kait's ferocity if she was actually in danger of becoming the new Swarm Queen. On the contrary, I think this is a genuine moment for Marcus. He has lived a life where he hasn't let himself process his emotions in a healthy way, and we have seen that it ruined his life. He doesn't have a good relationship with his son, just like he didn't have a good relationship with his father, and in the novels we see that his relationship with Anya is strained because he doesn't open himself up to her. He doesn't want Kait to follow in his path. So if I'm right, and Reyna isn't Kait's biological mother, then who is? Bear with me on this answer, it's a bit of a doozy, and you're going to hate me for it at first, but in the end, I think it makes sense. Her biological mother is actually Reyna, just not in the traditional sense. All the way back in the first act of the game, the squad has to cut through the maternity annex to find the fabricator. Simple enough. A place for babies to be born, right? Well, not exactly. In the annex, we find a collectible confirming that the cog have the ability to perform gene therapy. Gene therapy is the transplantation of normal genes into cells in place of missing or defective ones in order to correct genetic disorders. Basically, you can change cells and DNA before birth so that babies aren't subject to certain genetic disorders that your family might have. It's pretty advanced medical stuff, and if they can do that, then they can easily do other medical marvels such as artificial insemination or surrogacy. If Reyna was a surrogate for another woman, then Kait would have been born from Reyna, but without her DNA, meaning that Myrrah's bloodline ends with Reyna. And being a baby created in this way could lead to Kait having an aversion to what the maternity annex represents. In a disgusted tone, she says, "Ugh, I'm guessing the maternity ward would get us inside." That reaction makes it seem like she has a personal connection to these places. And maybe as a result of being born in this manner, she would feel like an outsider even within her own family. And that might make receiving her grandmother's necklace even more meaningful for her. Despite the history attached to it, it's a family heirloom that has been passed down to a daughter who has always felt disconnected. Anyways, I know I'm probably thinking too deep into things in this video, but I think that it makes sense given what we know about the characters and the lore surrounding Gears of War. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and any theories that you might want me to talk about in the future. I have a couple other videos that you can check out on screen or in the description, and I will see you next time on Split Couch Games.